Hey, what's up? What's going on? New video coming, dropping right now. This is my comfort shows of 2024 so far. These are shows and stuff that I watch offline that have really been really moved me enough to want to make a video about them. I don't do a lot of live reactions to videos and stuff anymore or TV shows anymore, but I just don't have time. But I do want to talk about these shows that I've been watching offline that I really, really enjoy, and I'm sure most of you join them as well. So let's start with our first one, Frieren. So Frieren is the first show I'm going to talk about. Yeah, I'm not doing live reactions for that, sorry, but I am watching it offline, and I really waited for the season to end so I can binge them all at once on my own pace. And I'm glad I did that because I am 10 episodes in. I'm barely 10 episodes in, and I love this show. Like I didn't know what to expect. I All I know is that people rate it up there with like Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, which is crazy to me. And one thing I kept hearing is that it just keeps getting better, and that's been my experience so far. Is that it's a very slow burn, but it just kept getting better. And I didn't expect it to be so like not take itself too seriously, but like just just being a well written show. Like I'm used to there being some kind of twist or you got to give the same but different, right? And spice it up. But it's just really good. It's just really good. So I'm just gonna give my brief thoughts on Frieren. So let's talk about the character. Well, let me talk about the first episode. The first episode is what really hooked me. I didn't think I would get as emotional as I did watching these heroes. You know, spoiler alert, they're dying. We're at the end of their journey. It is Frieren beyond Journey's End, which took me a while to realize, honestly. And we see them at the end of their adventure, and they're like disbanding, and we see how Frieren lives for a long time, and she's slowly watching her friends, her party, just die off in front of her, and it's very captivating because you can tell by after the death of Himmel that these adventures that she was with really affected her over her 1,000 years of living, which I just found out last night. Um, but yeah, she's trying to become, more understanding of humans and probably why they affected her so much. You know, just like her master Fauna or whatever. I'm not good at the names, but yeah, it's just been really interesting seeing her go about starting a new adventure with these new characters who were apprentices of her old characters. So let's talk about the characters, right? We got Frieren, who is a lot more complicated than I thought she would be. You know, she just seems like the typical cold, super powerful. Even to a degree, Fern is kind of the same way, but she's a little more complex. She doesn't show it often, but she's kind of ruthless. She has these little quirks like, oh, I like collecting spells as a hobby. These random ass spells like seeing through clothes, right? Just because she wanted to. I maybe there's a reason for it. I'm not there yet. Like I said, I'm on episode 10, but even in the last episode, episode 10 was a banger though. I'm not gonna lie. When she went up against Aura, and then she's like, I had more mana than you think I did because you're only alive for 500 years. I've been alive for 1,000, girl. Like what are you talking about? And then she did the little hair flip, and then she's like, kill yourself. She did the little yourself. You know what I'm saying? And like my jaw dropped at that moment because I didn't. Because okay, the way she smiled after she said that kind of threw me off because I was like, oh, she's kind of enjoying herself here. Like she's not just taking out the threat because she thinks it's a threat. It's just more than that. So I thought that was really funny. So yeah, Fern is pretty cool. I mean, she's a kind of a typical cold-hearted character who's super powerful, but then eventually warms up to all the other characters in the story, like Stark or Stark. I've been watching the English dub, by the way. English dub has been really good. I'm not gonna get into subs versus dubs, but I really like the English dub. It's pretty funny. Stark is pretty funny in English too. I can't help but think of Tony Stark every time I see Stark because not only is he red in color, but it just makes me laugh. I can't help it. All right, I like the fact that he's scared all the time. It's very realistic. Even that one king told him like, yeah, it's very valiant. Your hands are trembling, even though you're here trying to save me against these demons. These demons weren't nothing, by the way. They were everything Frieren said they were. I was laughing at the part in retrospect where Frieren saw that one with the horns, right, and the blood. As soon as she saw him, she pulled out the staff. She's like, it's on site, like right now. And everybody jumped on her, like, what the hell? She was right to do that. I love Stark. He's pretty funny. Um, One thing I gotta say about the show too is the animation is it pops off for no reason, and I love that because it's so funny because it'll be these random moments that are totally insignificant and they're just day to day moments, but they animate the hell out of those moments. Like putting on robes or sitting down in a like a bar stool, right? Just random moments. Let me give you an impression of the animation for a dull moment in Frieren. This is somebody drinking water in Frieren, in a random Frieren episode. Here we go. I don't know. They animate every movement, and it's so funny because it just comes out of nowhere. But yeah, Frieren, I'm on episode 10. I'm loving the show so far, and it's one of my favorite comfort shows of this year. Let's move on to The Boys. The Boys, The Boys. So last night, I watched the season finale of season 4. Now, I have loved every season of The Boys up to this point. I love the characters. I love Homelander. I mean, you can't say too many great things about Anthony Starr's Homelander. I mean, he's the perfect cast ever. And the fact that he doesn't plan on doing any other superhero after this is, because he says he's old. But it's perfect because how many of us can say that we played a super villain? So I commend him and all the other actors. But yeah, I've loved every season so far. This season, there have been, I can't say that I haven't enjoyed a single episode, but I can definitely tell that this season is all set up. It's all set up for season 5, which is supposed to be the last season. And honestly, they saved a lot of their best stuff for this last episode. Because especially the Tech Night episode, I felt like they were kind of like, felt very fillery, but I think they jammed a lot in this last episode. But it's still good. I still love it, and I still enjoyed every episode this season so far. All the bangers that happen, all the reveals at the last minute is mind blowing. Let's talk about the characters. I haven't really talked about the boys, so I'll tell you about how I felt about the characters this season. Starlight. I know Starlight gets a lot of hate for her appearance, which is totally uncalled for. But I also think that in this last episode, she kind of blames Huey for getting with the shifter, and it's kind of it was kind of weird that she was blaming him solely, even though she let off it like a scene later. But Huey's a victim this whole season, so I felt bad for him too. But I understand that it was a very complicated, unrealistic situation, but I get that she feels that way. But I find it weird. It just feels like the writers don't like Erin, her real name. But whatever. I'm a Starlight fan, and when I think of the boys, I think of Starlight as one of the main characters, and she's great. So what the hell? Another great character who was not in last night's episode was A Train. A Train had such a great arc this whole season. And I'm honestly relieved he wasn't in this last episode because that means he'll be in the next season, which means my boy A Train made it out alive, and he's somewhere in Belize smashing the local talent. Uh, I just loved A Train this season. Butcher is always cool. I mean, how can you not like Butcher? Even though he's like the meanest dude on there. He took out Newman. Newman was a great character. I liked her. She really came into her own these past couple seasons. You know, ever since we found out she was a soup and she got more screen time. It's gonna suck not having her around. The two new characters that came this season, Firecracker and Sister Sage, really really great additions to the cast. They had a lot of good screen time, good moments. They really had their time to shine, especially Sister Sage, who's probably going to be one of the final villains next to Homelander. Which, by the way, this is the setup season, and they are setting up season 5 to be the season where Homelander gets his ass kicked, bro. He is going to be laid out multiple times. Probably the whole last episode of the next season. Because now we have Soldier Boy back. And then I guess I don't know why they keep hiring these supernatural actors. Not no hate, because I guess the president was like on Supernatural as well. So we got Jensen Ackles, we have that president, and then apparently the guy who is opposite of Jensen Ackles in Supernatural, he's in talks to join too. So it's gonna be funny when you have all these videos of the panels of Comic Con or whatever. Everyone's going to see the boys, but it's more Supernatural fans than boys fans. But I'm waiting for this next season, and Kimiko. How can I forget Kimiko? There's a part in this final episode that made me laugh so hard. It was when it was in the middle where everyone's going to shit, and then they all meet up in the hideout, and then they just show Kimiko, and she's just like, "Hi, hey." I was, how can you hate her though? She's great, and she spoke. So maybe next season we'll get a full sentence. Wouldn't that be crazy? But yeah, I'm waiting for the next season, and that's the boys. Love it. Now, for this next show, I haven't really talked about it that much, and I don't really gonna think I'm gonna go into it a lot right now. But one of my other comfort shows that was earlier in this year that I got to watch was Dungeon Meshi. I really love this show. It took me a while to finish it because I really spread them out over time, and I really enjoyed it. Like it, to me, it kind of feels like Frieren because it is a slow burn, and I do love Studio Trigger. I love Kill la Kill. I love Gurren Lagann. And so when I heard Studio Trigger was putting out like a new show, I guess it's based off a manga, right? Oh, it is. It is. It's based off a manga, done by Studio Trigger. I had to be there, okay? And it was great. I loved it. It was definitely a comfort watching them make food out of just weird creatures and stuff. And I did watch the English dub. I'm not gonna lie. Most of the reason I watched it was because not only the Studio Trigger stuff, because Emily Rudd, who plays Nami in the live action One Piece, she was in it, and she was great. And apparently, I guess it's less than 100 chapters. So next season, whenever it comes back, will be the end. So it's kind of a weird feeling to, because I'm used to watching shonen that are super long and stuff. But it's kind of weird for me to be into a show and then I'm going to see the end of it fairly soon because it's already in production for season 2. And so I'm waiting on that. I'm waiting on all these shows to come back, especially when I finish Frieren. And these are the shows that I've been watching that have been keeping me nice and warm at night. And there's more to come for the rest of the year. Maybe I'll do a video game video about the games that I've been playing this year, like Hi-Fi Rush, or I plan on doing Hollow Knight. I'm not going to stream them because I don't have the equipment for that right now. But I do enjoy my little hobbies, like watching these shows and playing games and stuff like that. So thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Let me know if you like the video by liking the video, and I will see you later. Bye-bye.